Alright guys, so let's talk about Soul, which is Pixar's newest film that was released exclusively to Disney Plus because of everything going on in the world right now. So, I'm glad I finally got this, just like Wonder Woman, which I just reviewed as well, Wonder Woman 1984. I'm so glad that I got to finally get to see a movie that I really wanted to see. Um, and with Wonder Woman, I didn't like it as much, but still, I'm glad that I got to see it. And I'm glad that I got to see two Hollywood movies the same day that came out. This and Wonder Woman. So Soul, to me, watching Soul is a movie that, with Pixar movies, like 85% of the time, I'd say, almost masterpieces. Like, incredible. Love Pixar. And then there's like the 15% where it's like, Cars 2, or like Cars 3, or stuff like that, or the Cars trilogy as a whole. It's that kind of that's that kind of a company that makes films that almost always are successful or almost always are critically praised. Like I said, besides a few, but not a lot. And Soul is interesting because this movie, if you look at it in terms of Pixar's animated canon, it is very different than the other movies in a way, with similarities to Inside Out. I have to point that out though. It does feel in some ways like Inside Out, but it doesn't ever feel like a copycat, if that makes sense. Like in terms of visually, in terms of the stuff in the afterlife, where like you're seeing these little cartoony animated things. It looks like something like Inside Out, which is fine. It reminds me of something like the emotions that are in Inside Out and how they looked. It is very similar to that. But besides that, the comparison ends there. It looks similar to how it does in Inside Out with those kind of animated characters in the afterlife part of the movie. But the first thing I got to say about Soul is this is incredibly beautiful. I was sitting there watching this movie, just how it's shot, or how it's animated. I said how it's shot because it looks like they went out and got a camera and shot a movie. In the stuff in the real world, it is truly some of the best animation ever. And Pixar, again, every single time they make a movie, it gets even better. And with the last movie that they did, Toy Story 4, which I loved, it was my favorite movie last year, it looked really incredibly beautiful. Every time Pixar makes a new movie, they keep going deeper and deeper into detail. And in this one, I feel like they've mastered it. Watching the real life stuff where where you're in the real world, and the lighting of where you're at, the animations these characters have, it's weird. They're cartoony, but they're so realistic. Like the character of Joe, who Jamie Foxx plays, he has a face where it's like flat up here, and then he's got like a round part right here. So like he's kind of looks like a potato, his head, if that makes sense. It kind of looks like a potato, but it looks, the character and how he is animated looks so legitimately real. It's so fascinating how they do that, and I love how they can have that balance between it is still an animated movie, but having those little quirks. Like his head does look like a potato, like it does look animated in that way, but all the facial expressions he has and all the characters have are truly outstanding. And that is genuinely the best thing about this movie, is how it looks. And that's not a bad thing against the movie. Like, I'm not saying anything else is good about it. Everything is great about it. But how these characters look, how the movie is animated, looks like it was shot outside. Like, it is truly beautiful in the real life segments. And in the segments in the afterlife are really, really good as well. They're animated like an animated movie, if that makes sense. And that contrast between both of them is genuinely really cool, just seeing the difference between the two. Now, if I haven't said the plot of this, it's an interesting plot because this character Joe, who's a teacher, and he wanted to be a musician, then he gets his chance, then he dies. At the beginning of the movie, he dies. He's in the afterlife. He doesn't know what, he doesn't want to go and die yet. He wants to fulfill his purpose. and he meets another character there named 22, who Tina Fey voices, and this character and Joe embark on a journey together. And I know what you're thinking. This is like most Pixar plots where two characters have to find something, or they get lost and try to find something, but they do drop that pretty quick. Even though it's a great trope, they do drop it pretty quick. And I really, really liked the chemistry between both of them. I thought that they were both great. I don't know if I would have known that these were Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey if I didn't know beforehand. Like, the voice work is really, really, really outstanding as well. And I like too how the character 22 is like a lost soul, and like her character is that she says that her voice is the voice of an annoying middle-aged woman because she likes to annoy people. I like that joke. That was awesome. And I like how it plays into the fact on why there's an older woman voicing this like little soul that's not like, it hasn't gone to Earth yet. And this isn't really a spoiler, but it hasn't gone to Earth yet. It's like stuck up there, and it's trying to find its way to go to Earth because that's where the new souls go to. And I thought that was really cool. And it's just hard not to say anything. I'm not going to spoil it, but I really, really like the fact that the purpose of the character Joe and what he wants whenever he gets it in the movie, it turns into a great joke. And that's really hard for you to understand, because if you haven't seen the movie, you're going to be like, what? I don't get it. But whenever Joe tries to fulfill what he wants, and what 22 wants, it results in a really funny thing that happens with these characters, and it makes these characters even more connected. And I thought that is a really cool way of changing up the trope with these characters going on a journey together. But I really love that. And I really just love the fact that this movie is just so different in terms of, it's not a movie that I see a lot of kids loving. It's a movie for adults more than kids. I know there are moments where they're in this afterlife and there's souls that are animated and cartoony looking for the kids, but the real life stuff is hard to watch in a good way, and I really appreciated that. I appreciated that, again, Pixar does this in a lot of their movies where they don't sugarcoat how the world is for the most part. So I did appreciate that. And I just really, really love the story. I thought the story was really well done. And I just thought it was well written and well made. Like, it's just a really beautiful movie. Like, in every way. And it's weird. The only thing, this isn't a negative, but the only thing that surprised me when the movie ended, and I might need to watch this again, I didn't feel as much of an emotional connection on first watch. So maybe I need to watch it again. Like, I still really like the movie, but the movie never gave me the Inside Out moment where you realize sadness is purpose, or like Toy Story 3 at the end of that movie, or the end of Toy Story 4, where like you have like a moment of satisfaction. And I felt satisfied in this movie, but not emotionally, if that makes sense, because I don't know, I've seen it once. I'll have to watch it again, because maybe I just need to see it again to really fully grasp what they were going for in that department, because everybody who said it, whenever I've seen reviews, like, man, the ending just tore me up. And it didn't tear me up. It was great, but I never felt like I said, something like Inside Out or Toy Story 3 or 4, like, I never felt that emotional pull. Even though it was very satisfying and a very great ending, I just didn't feel the emotional pull to it. And maybe I just need to watch it again. I'm not going to do another review on this one, but if I watch it again, I hope that I do have different feelings on the ending. Because I did like the ending as an ending, but I just didn't feel that emotional connection. But the movie is still very well done, and it's still a great movie. It is very easily top 5 of the year of the movies that I've seen. And I think I've seen 42 movies, counting this one. So this is a great one, a really, really great movie from Pixar. I'm glad we finally got to see it. I'm glad we got to see it, and also the fact that this movie probably would not have made, like, I'm assuming if we were in a normal year, I'm assuming that this would not have made like Toy Story money, like $1 billion. I don't think it would have made that. I think it would have made enough money for Pixar, but I don't think it would have made a lot. It would have been something like Brave or like A Bug's Life in terms of like probably how much the movie made. I don't know. I don't know if Bug's Life is a good comparison. Maybe like Cars 3 in terms of like a movie that people know about or people want to see, but it's not going to be as successful as one of their bigger movies like Toy Story or Finding Nemo or something like that, or The Incredibles. But it's still, I'm glad that we got to see it, and I'm glad Disney took that risk. But I do want movies back in the theater again, so I hope that this is just right now a little gift for us for this horrible year, but it's also a timely movie. Like it works in this year. I really did appreciate everything about it. So I'm glad I finally got to see Soul. Definitely go out and see this one if you haven't. I think on Letterboxd I gave it 4.5 out of 5. Really, really enjoyed it. Great movie overall. So that's it on my review for Soul, and thank you guys for watching.